Hello everyone! Dani and I will be teaching you about the photographic and non-silver chemical process, the cyanotype. Cyanotypes first made their debut in 1842 at the hands of Sir John Herschel. He discovered the cyanotype for the use of printing and keeping duplicates of his work. These prints were the first true blueprints of the times and were used to give a genuine copy accompanied by a blue hue. Herschel also coined the words positive and negative, photograph, and snapshot. He was also credited with discovering that a solution of sodium thiosulfate, which he referred to as hyposulfate of soda, had the ability to dissolve silver chloride. Although the cyanotype was discovered 3 years following the emergence of photography, it still wasn't considered a form of photography quite yet. It wasn't until a year later that a woman named Anna Atkins intertwined the cyanotype with photography. She started by creating blueprints of her drawings in 1843, and by 1853 she had completed a 3-volume anthology of cyanotypes. The volumes were comprised of 424 handmade cyanotype pieces. Atkins made many of her works using the photogram process. This process allows for a silhouette to be made of an object that is placed on top of the coated paper. The photogram process uses light to create these silhouettes. The cyanotype process is quite simple compared to other photochemical processes. The items needed for the cyanotype process are ammonium ferric citrate, potassium ferricyanide, distilled water, paper, a measuring graduate, 3 mixing containers, gloves to protect your hands, a brush, and scales. The 2 principal chemicals that are mixed together in equal parts to create a working sensitizing solution that will later be applied to paper with the brush are Part A, ferric ammonium citrate, and Part B, potassium ferricyanide.
To make a sensitizing solution, you first need to make 2 separate solutions of Part A and Part B. For Part A, add 100 grams of ferric ammonium citrate to 400 milliliters of water to make a total solution of 500 milliliters. For Part B, add 40 grams of potassium ferricyanide to 400 milliliters of water to make a solution of 500 milliliters. Mix equal parts of A and B, like 50 milliliters of Part A and 50 of Part B, or 100 of both, to create a healthy sensitizing solution that will be a clear yellow-green color. Note that there are several cyanotype printing kits available for purchase, and this is the process of creating the solution from scratch. Another thing that you will need once your solution is made is a negative or an object for the printing process. When it comes to coating, brush the solution on a paper or fabric, preferably something thick because thin paper will later dissolve in the wash. Coat evenly in a low lighting or dark room. Once the paper has been coated well, dry it in darkness or again very low light. A coated, dry, and ready to print cyanotype will be a light green-yellow color. It should not be blue prior to printing. Use the gloves to avoid touching the print with your bare hands to not get the oils from your fingertips onto the coated paper. For cyanotypes, printing is done in UV lighting. The sun provides the most efficient and least expensive means of exposing your negatives, preferably in warmer temperatures with a higher UV index. Load the coated paper and negative into a contact frame so that the negative is sandwiched between the coated paper and the frame. Exposure should last around 5 to 6 minutes. Development is the easiest step in the process. The cyanotype is developed in a water bath. Often downplayed within the history of photography, the blue images had their first major museum exhibition in the U.S. at the Worcester Art Museum in January of 2016. Organized in collaboration with the Clark University, the exhibition, Cyanotypes Photography's Blue Period, explored 150 years of the cyanotype, examining the many ways that around 40 artists have experimented with it to create expressive works from a process cherished for its speed and ease. The curators described this exhibit as timely because the blue image has been making a comeback in the contemporary art world. Co-curator Christina Wilson explained that the 1990s witnessed a revived interest in the cyanotype, which has since become a well-respected artistic medium. A particular contemporary work featured in the exhibit reveals how the cyanotype has developed beyond the 2-dimensional photographic print to form multidisciplinary works of art. Annie Lopez, for instance, highlighted the flexibility of the medium, printing works on tamale paper she then sewed to form dresses in her series Medical Conditions, which featured medical scans that reminded one of the 1940s medical school photographs. Although we were unable to physically produce a cyanotype due to lack of access to chemicals and backorder on Amazon deliveries, Gabby and I hope you all learned what a cyanotype is and how to develop one should you choose to do so one day.